Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Nick
Wait a
is
minute.
here.
I have to go. I have a space reserved on the toilet paper line.
Okay.
Our neighbor is
so
holding it
make
for
sure
me.
you
I have to
come
run
back.
down there. He called me. He said the line's starting to move.
And Nick is here.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Gal is not going to join us this morning. He had a personal thing he had to take care of. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, Wirecast Software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. All right, so last week, we had a problem streaming to Facebook.
Yes. I saw you did some testing this week.
I did some testing, and it worked.
Okay.
Now it stopped again.
Maybe you're being shadow banned.
Yeah. It's something in there that's really weird. I mean, it worked fine. No, it did not work fine the next day. So I posted and nobody answered, but then Tom Sinclair called and he said, well, let me take a look. So I came in here, fired up TeamViewer, and he said, okay, so show me. And sure enough, it worked fine. So
With no changes?
With no changes. So, I mean, Nick said something on Sunday. He said it may be Facebook that's having a problem.
Well, yeah, they were too busy adding new features I don't want.
I don't know. So, yeah, it's there again. I don't know. That's fine. So, I was sitting yesterday and this morning trying to get some stories, tech stories. It's like getting water out of a rock. Well, how do you say it?
Getting blood out of a rock?
Well, I don't know. What's the saying? Something like you have to really, really try
Blood
hard.
from a stone.
Yeah, okay, blood from a stone. Everything is about Corona.
Okay, can I make a recommendation?
Yeah.
Seriously? No, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Can we not talk about it at all?
I have to. There's some shtick that we're going to have to do today, though. Just
we
as
could do a
part of-
shtick.
as part of the specials, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying. So this is what I'm running into, which is super frustrating. Everything I'm watching, podcasts, everything is about it, and I don't care.
Oh no, we're not going to talk about it like that.
Excellent.
No, I did not get any stories about it. But
Well,
I
that's
wanted,
great. So
but I wanted to hear from you about customers that are
Mhm.
actually having problems working from home because they never tried it before.
Well, so there's a couple things. If you're planning on working remote,
Right.
fortunately, um, in comparison to years past, there are a lot more, what am I looking for? There's a lot more services in the cloud. People's CRMs, their systems, their core processors run in the cloud, which means that they can just log in on a URL. So that's good. For people that still run services on site, though, you need to either use a VPN or remote into a desktop that is, or, or you're using a laptop at home and you're remoting into a desktop um, that's on prem.
That's
So
probably
there's a
the s-
couple
that's probably the simplest way to do it.
if they've
But
got
yeah,
laptops though.
yeah.
That's part of
If they have actually going to come up during the specials, but Office Depot actually provided now has a splash page on their site to say, need help figuring out how to work remotely. And they have a
yeah,
guy wrote a consultant wrote a page just with a for you know nothing about this. What do I do? They
yeah.
offer three bundles for getting started with it, and then they have a link to CompuCon as a consultant to help you set up. So it was brilliant. I mean, it's nobody else. The Best Buy or Staples had nothing like it. So it was actually a good idea.
I think this could be a good long-term thing in terms of the working remote. I think you'll see a lot more of it after this is all said and done.
So,
Once people realize it's actually relatively efficient.
I was just going through a file cabinet looking at uh, files to get rid of, and I found a lot of old work stuff. And some of it was remote access. And what we were doing, gosh, it's got to be. Amnon, do you remember Secure ID? The little card that you had that gave you a new number every 30
oh,
seconds?
you had it. I never had
Yeah.
it. You
No,
had
I
it.
had
Yeah,
it. I remember I showed it to you how you
yeah,
used
yeah,
to, for remote app, for dial up, you
yeah.
used to dial into a modem bank and you do remote access. I've been doing remote access since 1991, where we used to dial into the IBM mainframe and be able to get into profs,
Wait, wouldn't
professional
you have
office.
to pay for that though on your end? Because
Well,
you
yes.
were establishing a
The
phone
good
call?
news is the pop was local, so
Oh,
it was a
okay.
local call. But yeah, it was. Gosh, I was doing remote. I wasn't doing remote access for work until I moved here because I didn't have profs until I moved here. Um, it was a. But yeah, we've been doing some kind of remote access a long time.
Well, and now that so there's a couple reasons that remote access is a lot more feasible now, and the biggest one I would say is Microsoft with their Office 365. That deals
Yeah.
with that in itself is a huge burden lifted off of local IT people with dealing with setting up people's exchange because it's on prem and
Don't they
that you're
have?
running on.
You would know. I'm not familiar with it. Don't they have some type of a team app?
They do. It's called
Microsoft
Teams.
Teams. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not sucks, but it is there. Um, so with Office 365 in the cloud and most core processors and or um, CRM systems in the cloud, customer relation management or whatever your line of business is, it's really not that complicated. Unless, which a lot of our customers have, is on-premises servers, and then now, so we're doing a lot of firewall quotes to get people new firewalls that have good VPN capabilities.
Oh,
So
so did you see? I mean, so far, did you have to deal with customer who called from home and said, this doesn't work?
no, fortunately, our customers, and this will likely change over the next couple weeks. Um, our customers are our slogan at our company is we're your technology advisor.
Right.
So we're not just your help desk when you've got a problem. We are, but the whole goal is that you work with us and keep us in the loop on things, and we can work together as a team. So fortunately, most of our customers um, let us know before they do stuff like that, so we can prepare.
Okay.
Not
Oh,
all of them, and I'm sure we'll get some calls over the next couple weeks from, "Oh, I'm home and I need to access the server." Well,
Yeah.
let's see. You don't have a firewall with an active VPN subscription, and you don't have a desktop that you can remote into. And we're not opening up RDP, so you're SOL.
Can't you just
Um,
run a long wire?
yeah. So, yeah,
Oh,
that'll it'll be interesting to see.
And it's so funny to why when I was reading through that uh, document that they had on Office Depot was all the same things that we struggled with, companies struggled with years ago. Bring your own device when that was popular. Like all of a sudden now you could take your own computer to work, and there was a big problem because people were plugging into the network with computers that they didn't know what the hell was on them.
No
And
domain
then
access. Yeah, what a
yeah,
disaster.
yeah. Oh, and then we had network hardware that you had to authenticate with that individual Ethernet port to get access. If you didn't have a profile on set up in the system and you didn't have all the credentials, you couldn't even open that port to get it. That's how bad it was to block
that's
people from
good.
plugging their own device. People were bringing their own little routers to work, Wi-Fi routers to plug them in so they could have remote access for their personal stuff in their office. Had to shut all that stuff down. God, that was amazing.
Yeah.
BYOB, bring your own, or BYOD, bring your own
Yeah.
device.
Um, there's some other effects of all this. AT&T and T and Comcast are waiving their data caps for, I mean, temporary.
You know what's going to be hard
But-
is to do away with that when they're done. People are
Well,
going to
Yep.
go like,
that's
"What?"
yeah, no, that's why the article was saying that they may have to do away with data caps after all this is all over. So it doesn't matter. But for now, it's off. We'll worry what they're going to do when the time comes. But that's very interesting, and it looks like the rest of them are also going to follow. Uh, some of them up the bandwidth or the speed for their customers.
I think you need to dust off your modem bank, Amnon,
Yeah, right.
so we can dial in.
And it says the FCC said Friday that major internet providers, including Comcast, AT&T, and Verizon Communications, have agreed not to terminate service for the next 60 days if customers are unable to pay their bills due to disruption caused by the virus.
Okay, so you want to hear something?
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay my Spectrum bill. I'm going to see if they shut me off. I'm being dead serious. I am being as serious as the day is long.
Well,
I'm not going to pay my Spectrum bill and see what happens.
it's going to be interesting.
How the hell are they going to verify that
I
you
know.
are or aren't
I know.
affected by this?
That's right. I mean, you think about it.
Yeah.
eh, You know,
2 months of free internet.
yeah.
Then I'll have like a $600 bill when it all and after it's all
Plus,
said and done.
yeah, with all kind of late fees and stuff, right?
No, it won't be late fees. Hopefully not.
But it's there are a few things that just kind of I don't know how they're gonna pan out. The the payroll tax waiver for companies
Well,
from
that's easy.
50 to 500.
Mhm.
So that means if I'm a company that has 1,000, I can actually lay off 500 and collect money from the government. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's you know, hmm,
I think
there are
what
all
they're
kind of
thinking, what
things you can. What?
they're thinking is that they want to protect small businesses
Yeah,
because there are far more of those than there are larger, far more. I mean, there's small businesses is what's driving the growth in the economy
right.
now.
No, no,
It's not the
I
big companies.
agree. I agree. It's supposed to happen. It should. This is a good way of thinking. But the bigger companies can do all kind of things. They can set up a fast new corporation and move 500 people to that
No, oh
corporation.
no, I
You know,
understand, and they will try. There will be people that will try all kinds of things,
yeah.
but well,
But
you know
yeah,
what? If
it's
they do nothing, it would be suicide. So
well, It's we're going to see some interesting things. Anyway,
All right, enough coronavirus talk.
yeah,
Let's
enough.
get
There's enough. I
let's
mean,
go on with our lives here.
it is just ridiculous. All the tech forum, all they talk about
Yeah.
is the coronavirus. Corona,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
stupid.
come
Yeah,
on,
it's stupid. Stupid.
And there's lots of disinformation too.
a lot.
Yeah, that's a fact.
From everything is fine, just go about your normal business. Don't worry about anything. Don't even take any precautions. To 97% of the people in the country are going to die.
Gal,
So,
Gal uh, sent me something like some videos, and this guy walks into it looks like a Starbucks or something, and there's no audio, it's just music, and he's getting coffee, and the guy's giving him the attendant giving him the bill, and he's looking at it, and he takes out a wad of toilet paper, and he cuts 1, 2, 3, 4, and he gives it to him, and the guy said, yeah,
that's good.
so
Yeah.
the guy takes 2 more and puts it in his pocket, in the attendant's pocket as a tip, and this guy said, "Thank you."
I'd like to do a
It's
little
just
video of
ridiculous, and all this is because of the media.
disaster preparedness when a
Yeah,
guy wants
right.
to he goes to his safe and he opens the
Right.
safe up. He doesn't take out gold. He takes out toilet paper from the safe.
Um,
Oh,
Comcast mistakenly published the name, phone numbers, and addresses of nearly 200,000 customers
Whoops.
who paid monthly fees to make their numbers unlisted. The names and numbers were made available on EcoListing, a directory run by Comcast and picked up by third-party directories. After discovering the mistake, Comcast shut EcoList down, gave $100 credit to affected customers, and advised them that they can change their phone numbers at no charge. This is similar to a mistake in the early 2010s that resulted in Comcast paying a $33 million settlement in 2015. I mean, hey, I want my number unlisted. Okay, here. But we're going to put it online.
Are people still doing that?
Who? I don't know.
Unlisting numbers? That seems
Apparently.
more like a
Apparently. And I guess
I guess
Comcast
it
does
depends.
the what?
I guess it depends on why
I don't know.
yeah.
you're not listing the number. If you think you're going to avoid robocalls, it doesn't happen because it
No.
just just goes one more. What's all right? Change the last number of the calling string to 2, to 3, to 4, to 5.
Yeah.
Just keep calling everybody.
Up an octet every single time. Yeah.
No, that's not any kind of protection.
No, there is no protection. But I guess Comcast is providing telephone service. I mean, it's got to be their telephone service because they can't.
Yeah, it is. It's a VoIP service.
Just
Or
amazing.
the VoIP hybrid, I should say.
So I guess depending on why you unlisted your number in the first place, it could really be a pain in the butt notifying all
Yeah.
the people that have the number.
And I don't understand who unlisted. Where is it listed if you don't request it to be unlisted?
Well, the provider doesn't list it, so it shows up as an unrestricted. So number shows up as unrestricted or private caller.
But I mean, 411 cannot get that number. You can't call 411 and say, I need the.
No, all it is hiding it from.
No, no,
the
no.
caller
You,
ID.
you didn't understand my question. If it's not unlisted, if it's
Oh.
just normal, how does one get that number for Spence, for Nick? If
It's in
I
the phone
wanted
book.
that number, who do I ask for it?
It's in the phone book. It's in a directory. There's these
Which
online
directory? That's what I'm saying. Which directory? It's got to be.
There's plenty of there's plenty of phone
Oh
directories.
yeah, reverse lookup services.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so in that case, I would say I would want it unlisted because I don't want.
Yeah, you're not, but you don't want to pay for it, and you want caller ID with an unlisted
Yeah,
number. Your number is going to show up as restricted, and it's not going to show the number.
good point.
It's all public databases. This is not anything. It's just knowing where to look.
Yeah, and some of their there are some pay for services too that
Yeah, they go deeper with
mhm,
background checks and
mhm. Yeah,
Now, Nick, I don't know. Maybe you know something about this stuff.
I don't. I'm sorry.
nVidia says as
No,
the
what's
number
that?
of publishers,
isn't that a new drug, nVidia?
Yes, I know all about this. Go ahead.
as the number of publishers pulling out of nVidia GeForce Now cloud game streaming service continues to grow. The company has found an ally in Tim Sweeney, CEO of Epic Games, who vowed on Twitter to wholeheartedly support the company's efforts. He also took potshots at Apple and Google over the royalty rate each one charge on their respective app stores and expects them to go to battle as game streaming gains momentum.
So
I don't want to go more into, but I mean, what? Why are people having a
okay,
problem with
so
Nvidia?
so let me tell you what's going on here. So it's a licensing issue.
Okay,
So Amnon, you purchase a video game
yeah,
from Spence.
yeah,
Spence has got an end user license agreement, a EULA, that says this is for you. This is a one license copy. Typical EULA. Um, NVIDIA what was it called?
It's called
GeForce
GeForce
Now, GeForce
Now.
Cloud,
Yeah, GeForce Now. It's a
GeForce
cloud
Now
game
Cloud.
streaming service.
So there's two different things in GeForce Now. There's a streaming locally service, which allows you to stream um, from inside your network, from your computer to your phone or other device.
Yeah,
But GeForce, what's that?
Just like Plex
Kind of. And then
internal.
there's
Yeah,
GeForce Now
yeah.
Cloud, which spins up a virtual machine in the cloud and runs the game on that. And
Okay,
that's where there's some controversy over the license agreement because at that point, you are not playing the game on a device that you own. There's a third party essentially running the license for your game. And some developers don't like that. And rightfully so. It's their license agreement. If you
so
don't like it, if you don't like it, don't play the game or don't buy the game.
but if you go online to the cloud to play it
It's not going to the cloud. It's got something to do with the fact that NVIDIA, you are renting a virtual machine from NVIDIA,
okay,
and they are spinning up your license of your game in their cloud. And that
okay,
is against some end user license agreements.
but it's still using only one being
Doesn't
used
matter.
once
I don't know what the agreements
and you
are.
own it.
You
Interesting.
do own it, and that's part of the thing is once you are giving it to NVIDIA to stream in the cloud, you are not owning it necessarily.
Hmm.
This is my whole thing about it. Is this great for consumers? No. But, and I feel like I'm the only voice of reason when it comes to these things. Um, you agreed. You agreed to a term.
Yeah,
You agreed to the end user license
even
agreement.
if you didn't read it. Yeah,
If you didn't like the end user's license agreement, well, boo effing who? Too bad. You still agreed to it. So you can be pissed off. You can I was yelling, I was going irate on Tuesday on Infection over this because people are like, oh well, it's not fair. It doesn't matter if it's not fair. The law is not fair.
no,
You
the
agreed
law
to
is a
an
law. Yeah,
agreement, you agreed to a term. If you don't follow it, that, that there's nothing around it. You haven't. If somebody wants to enforce their EULA, they can. So don't agree to the term, don't purchase the game, and shut the hell up. Plain and simple.
the
So
article.
that's where the controversy comes in. And it's not just it's some big companies. Activision and Bethesda have pulled all of their games off that service. Those are two of the largest game developers and publishers in the world. because they want to own it. They want to be able to own the service. They want to be able to decide where the game is distributed and how it's distributed. Not nVidia, who essentially is, for example, Spence. You remember that over-the-air TV service that you talked about years ago in New York City? They put all the little quarter size
Oh, yeah,
antennas.
Wometco Home Television.
Yeah, they
Yep.
shut down because so they were essentially doing the same thing. They were grabbing over-the-air television, relaying it to customers, and they got shut down because they were breaking the license agreement of over-the-air
Oh,
television.
this was the Canadian thing. That's right. They were
Arrow
basing
or
their
something like
they were
that.
basing their antennas in Toronto, serving people in the Buffalo area.
Well, but then there was
Yeah.
also the New York City company too,
Yeah.
Arrow
Yes.
or something like
Yes.
that, and it was the same thing. They were acting as the middleman for cable distribution, or not. They were acting as the middleman for over-the-air distribution, and that turns out it's against the terms of service of what over-the-air TV is, and it's the exact same thing with this nVidia thing. It is they are acting as the middleman between you and your video game, and the end user license agreement does not allow that. Plain and simple.
The
So
the article goes on to say, just waiting till later this year when Google is lobbying against Apple for blocking Stadia from iOS, while Google blocks GeForce Now, xCloud, and Fortnite from Google Play. And this
that's not true.
whole rotten structure begins collapsing on itself.
They don't block Fortnite. That article is very inaccurate. Epic
Okay.
doesn't put their game on the Google store because Google wants a piece of the pie for in-game transactions, and Epic doesn't want to pay it. So
But they can still publish the
the APK, which they
yeah,
do.
yeah.
You go to Fortnite.com/Android, and you can download the APK, and then they don't have to pay anything to Google.
Well, I'll when we're done with this, I want to talk about Amazon Firestik and APKs.
Yeah, I think we're done. Go for it.
Yeah, we're
So,
done.
Got
well,
anything else, Sam? Yeah.
No, that's it.
so I bought an Amazon Fire Stick because I initially wanted to put it on. I have a TV on in my office off to the side. I've had it for years. It's got an HDMI port. It's a 19-inch LCD, and I wanted to get rid of the little cable box that I have there because I'm paying like $7.95 a month for each little extra tuner. The nice part about the tuner is, though, lets you access on demand. Obviously, I can't watch DVR stuff unless I have the whole house tuners, which I don't have. But they started out at like $1.99 a month, and now they're up to $7.99 a month. So I'm going to solve that. I'm going to put this um, Fire Stick there, and I'm going to load the Spectrum TV app because if I'm on the same network at home, then I can watch anything and actually watch on demand too. Well, it's not on the Amazon Fire Stick marketplace on their store, on the App Store. It's not there. So I found copies of it. The problem is, how do I get it to the Fire Stick? So I've been going through there's you can load browsers, you can load file managers, you can load download managers. The problem is the ones I get. Now there's an APK and there's something called an XAPK. I don't know what basically it's a larger file that contains extra features for the app that you use to organize these features. And well, I don't have enough memory on the Fire Stick to even load all this stuff. So I'm trying to figure out a way that I can get it over there so I can actually load it. So I added apps and removed apps. I was playing for like 4 or 5 hours, just trying to get to the point where I can. The closest thing I have now is to download it to my Fire tablet and then share it with the Fire Stick. So I'm almost there.
Is there another dongle like the Fire Stick that
Oh, there's
will
plenty of
allow
stuff.
you
I could buy it. I could buy a Roku stick.
and
streaming
then
stick.
but then will it work?
Yeah, because they carry it. You can download it from the Roku store.
Okay,
You
so
can get
what's the downside of getting a Roku instead of the Fire Stick?
There isn't any. It's just that I bought the Fire Stick because it was cheap. Now it's actually in today's ad, there is a 29 to $39 Roku streaming stick available.
Yeah.
Well, the Roku is also an issue because Roku does not allow you to sideload things.
No, that you not at all. That's right.
Well, you
Yeah.
can. There is a way to do it, but it's a
Well,
pain.
you
You can,
gotta
yeah, you can
basically,
upload an app as if you were a developer,
yeah,
but you
jailbreak
can
it
only put
basically. Yeah.
no, you don't even have to jailbreak it. It's
No.
relatively easy, but you can only put one app on there, and it's not persistent. So it kind of is stupid.
Okay, so is there a third?
There's an Apple TV, but I mean,
Yeah, that's why. I mean, there are options, but I bought this and I had it sitting for a long time because I couldn't use it for what I wanted to use it for, and I finally was determined. So I'm going to get this to work. The second thing that I ran into with this TV is the HDMI is older. It's this. I went back and looked. I bought this TV over 10 years ago, and so um, the functions in HDMI CEC it's called
mhm.
device control protocols are not supported on the television. So when I turn the device off, it will actually turn the TV off, but it won't turn it back on again when I hit the power button, and it
Hmm.
won't control. It will control the volume, but you have to basically disconnect the power from the Fire Stick and plug it back in again for the TV to recognize it. So it's not
Yeah,
optimal.
I got a Model T in the garage,
Yes.
and I cannot fit that V8 in it.
No, you can't put in that great um, radio you want to put it in either.
Mm.
Doesn't have the double high DIN slot.
Oh boy, that's right. I don't know. I mean, Spence, if this is such a pain,
Oh, no, it's I haven't dabbled for hobby sakes in a
yeah.
long time.
Okay,
And
so you
I used to spend hours every week doing something, right? Just playing. And it's good. It's relaxing. And I'm actually enjoying this. And just haven't gotten to the point yet where I like taking a problem that seems like so frustrating that you just walk away from it and solve it. And I will eventually get there. It's just a matter of spending the time.
well, you didn't dabble in any of that, but you did something this weekend, didn't you?
What?
Something to do with an older iPhone.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Tell
Oh,
us.
the other thing that happened was Pam and I became grandparents for the first time
Oh yeah,
this
that's
past
right. I
week.
forgot.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
congratulations.
So little Lucas was born on Tuesday night. My son Aaron and his wife April. 7 pounds
Grandpa
10 ounces.
Spence.
Yeah, that's right. Just don't call me Boompa or something like that.
Okay, Boomer.
I want to be Grandpa. I don't want to be a Papa. Oh, Papa would be okay because that's what my my kid great grandparents were called that. But none of these weird
What about
weird names.
Peepaw?
No. No,
I'm going to start
Nope.
referring to you as Peepaw from now on.
no. I mean, if the child winds up calling me something different, that's okay because they made
You
it up.
just
So,
tell
so
us.
I can't call you, is what you're saying.
That's you can, yeah,
You just tell
Exactly.
us what you don't want us to call you, and that's what
yeah.
we'll call
Okay,
you.
I'll put out a list of approved.
No,
pet
no, no,
names.
no. I want the list of the unapproved because that's what I want to use.
No, Dido. What is that? Alan put up there.
Dido.
That
Right.
could too easily morph into Dodo. So be careful.
Well, I was thinking something else, but never mind.
Get your
So
head
I
out of the
have
gutter.
I have an old iPhone 5S. My wife is still using, Pam's still using her 5S. I updated to a 7 a couple of years ago. And that's the one that Apple actually replaced the phone because the battery had swollen. So the 5S has a swollen battery. And I decided, well, you know what? I'm going to fix this myself. It's not available to be done through the Apple program, and they will not change a battery that's swollen in the store because it is a environmental hazard. If they open your phone and they look at it and they see the battery swollen, they close it again and they say, if it was under the program where they've replaced the phone for $49, I would have done it, but it's not available for the 5S. So I set out to say, I'm going to replace this battery. So I watched a couple of excellent video. There's a lot of junk video out there on YouTube on how to do this stuff. People were breaking their phones because the guy, oh, it's this easy in literally a 2-minute video. Do this, do this, do this, put the battery in, close it, you're done. Well, on the 5S, it has a thumbprint reader. If you don't pay attention to that little cable, you start the process by taking out two, they call them security screws. They're little tiny, tiny little torque screws on the base of the phone, right on either side of the lightning connection. Take those out. Then you're supposed to recommend like they have plastic blades. These kits that come with the batteries have accessories to help you change this thing. A little suction cup to pull the glass up. It's okay. You can use that stuff. But one video I watched, which was excellent, the guy recommends using like an X-Acto knife type blade. Just have to be really careful with how you use it, and just use it to pop the case open. So I did that, worked my way around, got the case off, was able to remove the connector successfully without damaging the fingerprint reader, the home button. And I got the battery out. You heat up the back of the phone with a hair dryer, you warm it up, and then the sticky tape will release the battery and you pop it out. So now I'm waiting for the battery to come in today, and I will put the new battery in. Most of the videos recommend removing the screen too, disconnecting the camera and the screen connectors. And I said, nah, the hazard there is that you don't want to lift the phone or pick the screen up past 90 degrees from the base. You don't want to put a strain on the connectors. I just decided to do it without that because I didn't have any trouble getting the battery out. But yeah, I'm eagerly awaiting getting the battery today and putting this back together. We'll see. Amnon, are you still there?
Oh, sorry. I muted it. If you have an old phone, do it.
Yeah, I mean, and there are places that will still do a battery for a swelled battery. You can just still take it to third parties that will replace it.
And you said it's just plug. It's a plug-in battery. It's not
Yes, it
solder.
is a plug-in battery. No soldering. The danger with the lithium-ion batteries when they're swollen, or a lithium-ion battery in general, is you want to be really careful that you don't compromise the packaging. You don't want to, when you're lifting this out, they will bend slightly. If it's swollen, then you have the danger of either puncturing it or starting a fire with it. So the batteries are not stable when they're swollen. That's why it's funny when I was looking up the videos to how to remove a swollen battery, there was a video there that said, here's why Apple doesn't fix phones in their stores. And it shows a technician bench with a guy replacing a battery, and the phone just basically goes up in flames.
Dang.
So another recommendation is that if you're going to change the battery in your phone, run the battery all the way down. Get it to the point where it's completely discharged before you try this, because you don't want to leave energy in the phone to potentially either damage the circuitry in the phone or to have a fire hazard.
Makes sense.
Very interesting.
All right.
Don't recommend going with this batteries. You can get probably 50 vendors on Amazon with batteries. And so far I've read, don't recommend going with a much higher amp capacity battery. Stick closer to the original one, because some of the newer ones either are not, it should be fine, but quality control may not be there. You can go a little bit higher. I think it's 1560 was the original milliamps. And you should go with, you can go as high as 2000 something. I would be wary of that, of boosting the capacity of the battery a lot. One thing about the site that I went to, the guy says, he said, this is the third time with a third battery he's put in his phone, and he just put the other new one in a year before. So it only lasted a year, whatever replacement battery you put in.
And this one that you're replacing, it was charging, but not charging good. And
no, it was charging, but it would drop off when it would get down to like 40%.
Right.
It would just go
how
zero.
How long has it been in there?
Oh, it's original.
Yeah.
It's a 5S. It's got to be 5 years old. The phone, and
So,
we used to sit on the charger. That's another thing is if you have something you don't use very often, just don't let it sit on the charger,
I mean, the
especially the older batteries.
new chargers supposed to be smart enough to stop
Oh,
doing.
they are. It's not going to create. It doesn't
Yeah.
create an issue, but once the battery starts to go
Oh,
and it starts to act weird, sitting on the charger, uh,
doesn't help.
unless that I just read, I didn't realize that there's actually a recommended discharge procedure for iPhones. Once a month, at least, you're supposed to run it down to zero. Literally, let it go down to the way where it shuts itself off and recharge it fully. That will help reset the patterning of not patterning of the battery, but the patterning of the software. If you look at your iPhone, there is actually an app built in that actually looks at and shows you the charging cycle of the battery and actually looks for issues. And it will start to do uh, stop it from charging fully. Once the battery gets old, if you charge it fully and leave it fully charged, it can affect the life of the battery as it gets older. So it will start to do this thing where it only charges up to like 80%. And that helps prolong the life. This is after Apple went through that controversy where they were actually uh, slowing iPhones down to try to
Yeah.
preserve the battery. That's what they said. Right.
Yeah.
But people were accusing them of saying, well, you just want me to buy a new phone. You're taking my old device and crippling it, so I'll buy a new phone. So they did away with that. Now they actually have this battery battery monitoring capability that does a pretty good job of maintaining batteries. It's a safety issue too.
I don't know. I mean, that's why I still like phones that you can just pop the back real easy and change
Swap the
the
battery out. Yeah.
battery. So
Yeah.
the older Samsung and now it's an
Where do you
LG,
find those 1999 phones at?
the LG G3. That's what I use. That's what we use now, and it's not just nice because you can get a battery that's like $9 and change it, and if it lasts for a year, that's good enough. But it's also a lot of times it's a good thing to take the battery out of the phone and let it really cold boot, completely cut the power off and reboot it, and it fixes a lot of things. I don't know how you do it in Apple. Maybe you don't need to do it in an iPhone or in all
You
the
can
other phones.
do you can do a memory reset with the phone on. The way you do it is you hold down the home button and the power button together,
Mm.
and it will go to the shutdown screen where you have the slider across the top to say shut down. Don't do that. Once it gets to that screen, hold down the home button. It's for a few seconds and it will clear the memory. It'll clear, basically do a soft reset. And, but the important thing is like if you have an app, I have some streaming apps that if I start and stop them a few times, they don't work. So I have to restart them. So sometimes even with restarting them, the streaming won't come back. So instead of shutting the phone off and back on again, I do this soft reset and it basically clears the memory and then I restart the app and it works.
And you don't lose anything that you
No, you
don't need.
don't lose anything, but it's a good idea to close all the apps.
Yeah.
So
Well,
So
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 I built a new computer.
yes, you did.
All
was
my
it a,
parts came.
386 SX or DS?
3900X.
Oh,
Right,
right.
close enough. Let's see here. Let's see if this will let me share my screen. So this is the new battle station, as they say. I've got two curved 1440p
Monitors.
144 hertz monitors. And then above that is a one of my older monitors, it's a regular Asus monitor that I had. And then let's see, let's let me go to the next photo. And then there's the inside of the case with all of its all of its pretty parts. A Ryzen 3900X, GTX 1070, Corsair all-in-one water loop, 32 gigs of Corsair RAM, and for the drives, I went with NVMe only storage. So I've got a 1 terabyte NVMe for my OS, and then a 2 terabyte NVMe that I'm going to store my video game library
You
on.
mean
So,
OS and program?
sorry, yes, OS and
Yeah.
programs, and then the second drive is going to be for um, archival
Mhm.
stuff
Yeah.
like the podcast infection podcast and stuff like that that I can store on there. Tell you what, man, NVMe is insane.
It,
The drives are so freaking fast. It's incredible.
and they're cheaper.
What's an acronym mean?
NVMe is the name of the drive. I
It's
don't.
it's
Oh, the
I,
not
brand name.
it's
no,
not
no, no. It's a type of
Oh,
it's an
non-volatile memory express. Okay.
it looks like a laptop stick of memory,
yeah.
and it
Oh,
slots into an
it's a
M.2 is the
it's yes, it's a PCI Express memory card.
exactly.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
slots
okay.
into an M.2 slot on the motherboard. Let's see. Let's see if I can.
So you had two
Yeah.
Yep.
M.2s.
So see right below the NVIDIA logo, there's that white uh, stick. That's an Intel 660 uh, 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte drive. So it slots in like that, and then you tighten it down with a little screw, and then the other one is
Yeah, but when you read memory from the card standing on end, it's all the characters on the side, 90 degrees off.
no, fortunately not. I don't have to
Oh,
worry about that.
it's built-in software to correct that.
Yeah, yeah, it's got built-in error correction, so it
Okay.
automatically flips the bits around.
All right.
So yeah, I've got those set up, and then 144 hertz monitors are super cool as well.
144 hertz. How did they come up with that number?
That's a good
It's not like
question.
120 hertz, double 60. It's like
So yeah, the monitors are super fast. Even just moving around inside of Windows, you can see how more response. I mean, you're doubling your frame rate.
mm,
So you're going from 60 hertz, 60 FPS to 144 FPS, and it's quite an intoxicating experience. It's so smooth. It almost looks like a movie. It's kind of odd.
don't talk about it too much because they'll start restricting this as being too much fun.
See, there you go.
Yeah, they'll come to the door. Say, are you having a really good experience with your monitors? Yes. Sorry.
Now these monitors are relatively inexpensive. These were $230 a piece for 1440p 144 hertz VA panel monitors, which are I mean that's
These are the gentle curve ones.
yes, they are.
Yeah.
And you can see by the picture, you can see the curve more on the left monitor just by the perspective that I took it, but it is not it is not a strain at all. It's you really don't notice it. Now, when
The,
I've got a window open full screen like I do right now, and you can follow this top bar across, you can notice the curve there because it obviously does dip back in the middle, but it's not at a point where it's
okay,
unusable.
Nick, you had multiple monitors before.
I had 4.
Can you tell a difference? Forget the 144 hertz. The curve, does it do anything for you?
No, but what it does do, for example, is let me switch over to this
Well, it's
screen.
supposed to help your focal distance, although there's something to say about like one thing that people have eye strain for computers on is looking at the keyboard, looking at their desktop, looking at the monitor, just constant change
Yeah.
can be a problem. It can cause eye strain because you got a focus distance of 3 feet, a focus distance of 2 feet, a focus distance of 1 feet, and you're constantly looking up and down, and your eyes have to adjust every time you move your head. So the curved screen, if I look at the very end, left end or right end of my 2 monitors, it's a whole 10 or 12 inches further from my head. So just to look across the screen, my eyes have to adjust to distance just to look at 10 degrees, right? So if the screen is curved, you turn your head, your focal distance isn't changing. It'll give you less eye strain.
So this is one of the other advantages, is because it's a non-standard aspect ratio, you really can play around with your windows like I've got it set up here. I've essentially got 4 full-size web browsers open, and none of them are to the point where they're unusably small. Um, so that's one benefit because it is not the resolution on the monitor is um, s- uh, the resolution on the monitor is 2560 by 1440.
Whoa.
So I don't know if that's is that I don't even know if that's 16 by 10. It might be more. Um,
Can you
so
count can you count the number of uh, hairs in my eyebrows?
I can. It's very high
Yeah.
resolution. So so that's the big benefit. So the reason so you're talking about going from 4 monitors to essentially 2,
Mhm.
and can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay. The Hangout freezes after I stop screen sharing. Um, so you're talking about going from 4 monitors to 2, and I had 2 16 by 9 monitors and then 2 4 by 3s, which were all single use. The 4 by 3s were one had Discord, the other one had Skype. But now with the 1440p, I can essentially snap. Windows 10 does this really well. You can do the snap, and it'll snap it to one half of the screen and to the other. And you can essentially have 2 programs open um, side by side, and none of them are unusably small to the point where you can't see, things are getting cut off. It all works relatively well. And then I've got that third monitor above me for Discord, Skype, and Voice Meter, which is my audio mixer.
And I guess the monitors are good enough that you don't need to wear your glasses anymore.
Um, I misplaced my glasses when I was cleaning my
Uh-oh.
desk, so I haven't found them yet. I've got I've got the blue light glasses. I don't know what I did with them though. I was looking for them last night. I couldn't find them. So
Somebody in the chat is asking. Oh,
let's
Morrow
see. What
says
kind of
how.
video card? I have a GTX 1070 is the GPU.
Yeah, he's asking how many CUDA cores.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Did you have to put the fluid in the cooling system, or did it come with a closed loop
It's a
that you
closed
just
loop.
installed it? Yeah.
It's an AIO closed loop, so that was done.
So I was wondering if you had to use the blue, the red, or the green antifreeze when you put it in there.
No,
Does it
actually,
say?
it's Rain-X. Yeah, a little bit of Rain-X. Keep it nice and clean. I'll tell you what though. So I went AMD, which I didn't. If you would have asked me if you would have told me 4 years ago, AMD is going to have comparable processors to Intel,
And
I would have
cheaper,
slapped
and
you.
cheaper.
I would have slapped you in the face, just because for the last 15 years, their processors were just either incredibly hot and underperforming or slow. I mean, the AMD Athlon series are just junk. Um, but these Ryzen processors are off the chain. Um, this processor was $416. It's a 12 core processor, 12 physical cores. That's
Yeah,
just
that's a screamer.
yeah. I mean, sitting here right now, my CPU is at 11% across 12 cores. And it's all its base clock is 1 point or 4.9. It's only running at 4.1 right now because it's not turboing. So if I really got it kicking, it would turbo.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What
Agreed.
else is there in the system that you did not have before? They say, now I have it.
I installed the Blackmagic Intensity Pro, so I got that.
You're kidding.
No, why?
It didn't crash on you yet?
No,
Hmm.
no.
Okay.
I bought it from Sean a couple months ago and haven't had a chance to put it in. Um, nothing else. It's got that
So
tempered side glass. The case came a little banged up, so I know that a lot of people get pissed off by that. Stuff like that doesn't really bother me. Um,
why are you using the Black Magic versus what was
the
the other
Avermedia,
the what? Yeah.
the
The Ever
Avermedia, the Avermedia is in my streaming computer behind me. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
previously have a capture card on my main PC.
Okay.
Um, so I did a reinstall of Windows, which is nice, and I'm slowly migrating and transferring everything over. So um, looking forward to that. And Amnon asked me yesterday, why didn't you just clone the drive? Be- because it's nice to do a refresh of Windows. Windows
You
needs
want to, from a
refresh.
driver perspective, you
Yeah,
want to clean up all the old clutter, get rid of
yeah,
anything that doesn't get
Oh, yeah, I
automatically
mean, you know,
removed
yeah.
when you uninstall it. There's just so much crap in registering it.
Fact.
You want to do a
So
clean install.
so it's obviously it's a pain in the ass. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
but
It
it'll get
is,
there.
but I've got my other PC right over here to my right. It's on. I'm remote desktop into it. I'm dragging files to my network share and copying things over. So I'll be able to record against the norm tonight on it. And then the plan is to do infection in its full uh, capacity on Tuesday night. So
You will.
I got my audio.
Yeah.
I got my audio all working. I was the one benefit of audio software mixing is I was able to export all of my macro profiles and everything. So my faders all work as intended on my MIDI controller and everything. My Stream Deck, I was able to migrate everything over. Um, Merle's asking how hard was it to move all your vMix input files. I'm gonna do a complete rebuild of my vMix profiles as well. So I will not be moving anything. I'm gonna be just doing everything clean. So that's exciting.
Merle also says that it's a 1920 CUDA core, according to the
There you go.
website. Wow.
Dem's a lot of cores.
Very nice.
Yes, sir. So yeah, a long time coming. My last PC I built in 2015, February of 2015. So
Let's see. Don't know who that is. Morning.
Hey, Amnon, it's Merle.
Oh, Merle. Why aren't you joining
How's
us
it
on
going?
video?
What's that?
Why aren't you joining us in the hangout? Anyway.
Well, so I got my cameras all shut off and everything.
Okay,
So
good.
but I thought I would call in. Are you guys still talking about Nick's build?
Yeah.
caller,
Oh,
you're on the
okay.
air.
So I mean, and Nick. So I mean, I don't know. Unfortunately I forgot you guys started at 9 and I plugged in at 10. But I mean, so how much time and effort? I'm getting ready to rebuild my computer because I'm trying to find something that works a little better with vMix. And the biggest issue I think I'm going to have is, I mean, how long do you think it's going to take you to reset up like all your inputs and scenes and all that on vMix?
Um, so I've got I just because I was looking at this last night, I've got 94 inputs in my vMix, which everything is an input. Every picture, every video, everything is an input. Um, I mean, I could probably do it. I'm intending on doing it all this afternoon.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's the hardest part for me is because I'm with you.
Yeah.
I've got several. I mean, probably over close to 100 inputs, and I
Mm.
mean, getting all the camera shots, back into place and rescaling them, and
Well,
some
the
of the
one
animation that I have.
the one benefit though is if you take your profile, you can do the replace. Um,
Yeah, I was
which is
going to
what
think
I
that would be available.
which is what I might do. That's probably what I will do, and then I'll just clean up the profile from in there.
Right, and I
Hopefully.
guess so. And another thing, I don't know how much you rely on the shortcuts, but I mean, as you
A
saw, I
lot.
think I showed you all my shortcuts in order to do the back channel
Mhm.
and stuff. I mean, that's my biggest concern is building new system and trying to get all that to work, because it took me hours to get all those shortcuts so I could press a button and inputs would change and mute, and so I could have a conversation that wasn't going out on the live broadcast.
Yeah, and vMix allows you to export all that stuff too. So
Cool.
now that I'm thinking about it, that's a good point. What I will do then is likely this afternoon, I'll export everything from my current profile, import it all, clean it up, and then reconfigure it.
Yeah,
That's
cool. Well, let me
probably
know how
what
that
I'll do.
works out for you, because like I said, I'm
Will do.
and make a list or something for me, will you, on Amazon, so I could just go click some buttons. Because trying to find out, I mean, that was my biggest thing right now, is there's so much out there, and I'm trying to get the best system I can for the buck. But and that reason I was asking about your video card is because, of course, vMix relies heavily, or can rely heavily, and works wonderfully if you use the processor on your video card, and it relies heavily on CUDA cores. So I think you're going to be screaming, because I mean, right now I think mine only has 800 CUDA cores, and vMix does okay, but with all my inputs and everything, I'm usually at about 60 to 70% of the processor speed on that. So yeah, check that out and let me know how that's working out for you.
Yeah, so I ended up keeping my current GPU, so that I had the 1070 in my current PC, and I was able to just swap that out. And I want to so total without the GPU, which I didn't have to replace. I think I spent right around $2,000 on all the
Wow.
parts, including the now. To be fair, I did buy 2 new monitors, so that that you're talking
Right.
about $600+ there. But it ended up being around 2,000, which is about 800 more than I spent back in 2015.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Hey, I'll be online, so we'll talk to you guys later.
Yes, sir. Thanks for calling in, Merle.
Thanks for
Bye.
calling, Merle.
Yes, sir.
All right. What else about that build, Nick? Anything?
Nothing.
All right.
Nothing really.
Spence, you ready for the specials?
I'm ready. But first, we have
First.
an online auction now. I've got this roll of toilet paper for $10. Now, wait. Oh, wait. Well, I'm getting word now. Hold on. Price just went up. Now it's 20. Act quickly. It's going to go right away. It's 20 now. Wait, no. It's 30 now. Sorry. With the amazing response we're getting here. This is great.
Yeah.
All right. I want to show you just a 43-second video here that I stumbled across. Absolutely fascinating. Because of the popularity now, actually, artisan artisan toilet paper now. You've got people making this from in home workshops and different places around the world. So they're replacing quilted northern with quilted northern rustic weave, they're calling it. So they're actually putting all the perfs in there by hand using an awl. It's unfortunately, though, it makes people a little uncomfortable when they sit down, but oh well. Soon to be in your store.
But now, wait, hold on a second before you start. I've got 2 sets.
Well,
what is
now
this
we don't
for?
want to get a this is a friendly competition here. And oh, by the way, after the show is over today, we'll be going to our secret bunker and locking the door behind us with 2 million rolls of toilet paper. That's all we're taking in, no other supplies. After all, people seem to be losing their minds trying to get all this toilet paper. So that's all we'll need, right? Just toilet paper. We should be fine. And we're
Yep.
introducing new software today. My Butt toilet paper tracker software. You can sign up and put it on your phone, and you'll be able to find out, track all of your toilet paper rolls wherever they are in real time. Protect them, protect that asset, right? Okay. We need to move on from that. All right. So starting with Staples. And this is pretty straightforward today. No changes from the Staples web perspective, just some deals that are out there. So we'll go through this pretty quick. Dell 15.6-inch i5 laptop, $529. It's $170 off. Apple iPad, they continue to have sales. I'm always surprised by sales. You used to see them, never see them at the Apple store, but you would see them at retailers, and now you actually see them at the Apple store. This is an iPad 7th generation 10.2, the larger screen, 32 gig for $249, 80 off. It's a good price. This next scanner here, I might actually go get this. I want to read more about it to find out if this is something I want to replace my old brother with. The brother I have is so old it doesn't have it. I found a driver for it. It's not great. Works okay. And I want to set up something that does a better job with receipts and pictures. Not that I scan a lot of receipts, but if you have a receipt capable scanner that does the auto cropping, that's what I'm looking for, something that's built into the software so I don't have to have third-party software to do this. So I might actually go get this ES50 Workforce portable USB connected scanner, a sheet fed scanner, or not, well, yeah, it's a roller. It's actually not a, you have to actually feed the paper through it, but $99, this is 20 off. 27-inch monitor for $149, Acer, that's 100 off. HP i5 desktop for $499, that's 130 off. The bargain monitor today is a 21.5-inch Dell monitor for $99, which is 60 off. And a pretty good deal. Usually don't see this stuff discounted too much. An APC 900 VA battery backup for $79. It's $23 off regular price. If you like the idea of the multi-device, high-end Logitech keyboard, mouse combos, the K780 is on sale, $59, 20 off. This is a really good price on the Samsung 500 gig 860 EVO SSD, $79, save
Yep.
20.
That is a good price.
It is a good price, yes. Even $99 is a good regular price for this. So we've got a 5 terabyte Seagate Backup Plus portable USB. Oh, it says external USB 3.0. It looks like, I can't tell from the picture whether the form factor is.
No, it's an external. It's a USB drive.
Yeah, it doesn't, I think it's just an external drive.
Yeah.
Not a portable drive. But 5 terabytes, 109, 20 off. 109, 5 terabytes. It just gets better. Okay, Brother MFC Color all-in-one laser printer for $299, 50 off. The prices are really coming down. So if you need color in your business, you want something that's a multi-function. Don't know if I think this is a fax machine, but I didn't drill down into it yet. Not that fax is used all that much. Most people send faxes electronically now, so you don't have to even have an intermediary machine. You can send it to a service, which will send it to the fax machine for you. But that's $50 off. Entry-level business machine, Epson Workforce Pro, 4370 for $119, which is $80 off. And here's what I was mentioning earlier about the Roku streaming stick for $39, which is 10 off. Networking, they got a Netgear Nighthawk AC2400 dual band wireless router for $109, which is $90 off the regular price. Good bargain upgrade to the AC standard, kind of the middle of the AC standard, plus some other features. You can plug in shared USB attached storage, share it on the network. And finally, getting close to tax time here. So are we going to get forgiveness on tax filing? Did they say anything about that? I wasn't sure if they were going to delay the date for filing your income taxes. I heard somebody mention that as a possibility.
Yeah.
Although I haven't heard anybody confirm it for whatever reason. But here you got TurboTax Home and Business, Federal and State for $89, which is 10 off. All right, that's it for Staples. Now, special mention for Office Depot, Office Max. Now, while this may be driven by commerce, basically business trying to sell stuff, Office Depot did put on their main page today a guide to people who want to work from home. Now, it's rather simplified, but they have come up with a couple of bundles for getting ready, from the complete bundle, which includes everything you need, short of the actual laptop, but it does have a wire color printer, a 27-inch monitor, a Dell USB universal docking station, a keyboard. I like this waterproof keyboard. I wonder why. And a Jabra Pro headset for $785, which is $168 off. They got a productivity bundle, which is a Logitech wireless headset, Logitech 922 Pro Stream USB cam, Jabra Bluetooth headset, and a Linksys AC 1200 dual band router for $361, which is $68 off. And then finally, if you just need the laptop, a decent webcam, and a headset, Lenovo Chromebook, Logitech USB headset, and a C525 webcam. So they're actually thinking about this and providing information. I put the link in the top here. You can go, and they actually have a very nice guide to remote networking written by somebody on their staff that just talks about all the issues. What do you have to do? And then when you say, well, now that I know I need to do this and I want to, I've decided on either invoking my plan or coming up with a plan for remote accessing. How do I get help? They have links to CompuCon, a evaluated reseller that does provide that consulting service. So
Nice.
I have to say they're thinking ahead. This is a service. Yeah, they're going to make money off of it, but it is a good place to start, right? Just to read their document, get some ideas, and then go from there. So, okay, on sale, they've got a TP-Link AC 1750 dual band gigabit wireless router for $59. It's 20 off. Now, TP-Link has always got good prices, but that's a really good price for a good mid-range AC router. A Logitech C922 Stream 2.0 megapixel webcam. Now, I've got the older versions. I have the 920.
I actually just got that one. I'm using it
922?
right now. Yep,
Yeah.
using it right now.
Yeah.
I bought it with the new setup.
Cool.
Very nice camera.
That's
So
why
this
you
is
look like that.
$79. It's 20 off. Here's a deal. SanDisk Ultra Plus internal solid state drive, $99. Save $100 off the regular price. Now, I don't know what the value, what is special about the SSD Plus. Is it just faster response time? I don't know, but a 1 terabyte drive again for $99 is a good price. Okay, that's Office Depot, Office Max, and finally at Best Buy. Business as usual at Best Buy. Nothing special about remote networking or anything like that. But they do have some deals. I've got an HP 2-in-1 14-inch touchscreen Chromebook for $399, which is $200 off. Acer Spin 11.6-inch touchscreen Chromebook with a Celeron processor for $179, which is $100 off. And a great entry-level Windows machine, which is a Lenovo IdeaPad 130 50.6-inch with an AMD processor for $249, which is $50 off. Got a sale on the Ring Pro doorbell, satin nickel. The advantage to the Pro is it's a little smaller than the original one. The original one is kind of hard to mount in a lot of situations. You don't have a lot of room for it. I've had to create actually mounting blocks and adapters to make it fit some people's entryway because it just doesn't fit properly. But this is it's a bundle. It comes with the chime too, which makes this a good deal. $189 for the Pro doorbell and chime. Save $110. If you're thinking about getting into video surveillance, this is a wired indoor-outdoor night owl 4-camera, 8-channel, 1080p surveillance system. Night Owl, good brand, good software, 1 terabyte drive for recording in the NVR, remote access into this thing. It's the model C20X for $229, which is $50 off the regular price. You're looking for there's lots of tilt pan cameras out there. D-Link is not necessarily the best, but they've been out there a long time. They have good, reliable stuff, decent software. So this is the D-Link a DCS 1080p Wi-Fi surveillance cam tilt pan for indoors for $74.99, which is $25 off. If you're looking again for a Wi-Fi router upgrade, we've got the Linksys AC2200 tri-band mesh. How do you do a mesh with a single router? I don't know how they would incorporate that term, but it could be that you have to have on the far end, on the client side, you've got to have a compatible adapter in order to take advantage. Maybe they do use mesh networking between the device, between the base and the device. But $139, which is $60 off. Got a Dell 21.5-inch touchscreen all-in-one AMD for $449, which is $40 off. And finally, a couple of things here. We got a PNY 128 gig USB 3.0 flash drive. This is one of those micro, they call it XFit. It's tiny. It's tiny. You can plug it into your laptop and just leave it there. So if you want to do on the fly, easy backups of documents just by dragging it over to another folder, another drive on your machine, I would do more than that to back up your machine, but here's an easy way to add some extra storage and just keep copying things on the fly. One extra backup, $21.99, $13 off for 128 gig. And finally, I don't know this brand. This is something new. LIFX, mini 800 lumen, 9-watt dimmable A19 color programmable bulbs. This is a starter kit for $129, which is $30 off the regular price. And it does have store pickup, although the carry store says only 2 left in stock. So, and that's it for specials today on, what is today anyway? March 15th. Jeez, 2020.
Yep. Time flies when you're having fun, Spence.
It does. Well, it's going really fast.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. And by the way, save all your used toilet paper cardboard rolls because we're coming up with a refilling service. So we can refill those cardboard rolls for you. The truck will pull up. You just give him the bag of rolls and he'll refill them right there on the truck. So all kinds of business ideas we can make out of this.
I remember back when I was a kid, we were always talking about the fact that the Scots are stingy.
The what it is?
The Scots, people from Scotland.
Oh, right.
So the joke was, how do you know that when you're flying, how do you know that you're over Scotland? You see toilet paper on the laundry lines outside.
Yeah, the Ides of March, John says in text and chat. Yes, I was thinking of that when I noticed the date earlier. Beware the Ides of March.
Yeah.
We had a teacher in high school that on the Ides of March, there would always be a Pledge of Allegiance and an announcement over the PA system, and he would read from Shakespeare on March 15th over the PA system in high school.
And yesterday was Pi Day.
What?
Yesterday was Pi Day.
Pi Day?
Yeah.
Like pie in the face day?
No.
Oh, like calculate pi?
Pi 314.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. That's right.
All right.
Friday was Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I stayed in bed all day with the covers up to my neck.
I went out and started. I killed people. I mean,
You
no, definitely no. Allegedly. I've got a story here.
Sure.
It's not really a story, but it's my story. I want to tell it. So my father sent me a message earlier in the week and said, "Hey, take a look at these printers. What do you think?" They were looking for a new printer, and he sent me 2 all-in-ones that were inkjet. And I said,
No.
do you need color? And he said, no, not really. I said, well, what about multifunction? He goes, no, not really either. I said, well, then why don't you just go with a Brother monochrome laser?
Right.
So he ended up getting the let me get the model number on it here. The Brother HL 2350DW. I'll post the link to it in chat. It's $89 on Amazon. It's full duplex, so it'll support full duplex sided printing. And it's got Wi-Fi and also Ethernet, and it will plug in and USB, so you can plug that in, and it supports AirPrint, Apple Print.
That's
so
good for $89.
it is. And so the two lasers that he was looking at were the first one was an HP 505, which is an all-in-one, and that was $129. I mean, it looks like a nice printer. And then the second one was an HP OfficeJet 3830, which was $100. But the biggest problem with these things is the damn ink.
Right.
Yeah.
And the ink is outrageous. And for $90, I mean, you may never have to replace. If you very rarely print, you may never have to replace the toner in that.
Correct. And it does not dry out.
Correct.
The starter cartridges, I ran mine for like 2 years on the starter cartridge.
Yeah. So my recommendation is to anybody looking for a new printer, and by the way, Brother does sell a very reasonably priced multifunction. It's called their MFC 2710DW. It's still black and white, but it does support copy, scan, fax. It does support all that, and it's $160.
Well worth it.
I would highly recommend. I don't know why you'd buy an inkjet unless you need to print color.
And the same, no, even with color, I mean the same thing. There are a lot of low end color laser printers.
Yeah, they're expensive though.
They're
The color
not
lasers are pretty
expensive. No,
expensive.
they're not expensive. They're below 200. I
For
mean,
just printer though. For multifunction, you're looking up towards $300, I think.
oh yeah, if you're talking about multifunctions,
There's one today
no,
for
you need to
$299,
get,
I think, or less than that.
Yeah.
you need to get just the printer. And
Well, if that's all you need, correct.
Spence, when did we buy those Dells?
Oh, 3 years ago at least.
I still did not change the cartridge.
I haven't yet either. I look at the software to tell me, and it says not even close to needing it. So
Because
I'm ready to buy it, and they're reasonable. You can buy all 4 colors for like $60.
Right. That's the thing, that the supplies for those color lasers, some of them, not all of them, are very, very reasonable. Very reasonable.
Yeah.
Older machines,
but
older machines, not so much.
But that entails buying two printers. If you print a lot in black and white, then
So the brother MFC. Hang on, I need to make this bigger.
you
so I can read this.
could get one of those color ones, and just keep replacing the black cartridge.
Yeah, I don't think I'd recommend buying
But-
2 printers.
Well, you see, that's what I do.
Well, yeah, I
But
don't
yeah,
think I'd
in
recommend
certain places that doesn't work. So if you don't print a lot, then it's fine to use that color printer.
A lot of
I don't
companies,
know.
a lot of companies, because of the original cost of color laser, will have a separate color machine just to do presentations and
Right.
documents, special documents that need color.
The
have
thing,
to,
the thing, Nick, is that if you get a inkjet, unless you can fill it up yourself,
Yeah.
which is it's not rocket science, or you have somebody who can refill them for you, like we have Nabil here at the fairgrounds for $10. If you're going to go to the store and buy cartridges for it when it needs it, it's not going to be long before you say, geesh, I could have paid for another printer and just let it sit there.
That's what people do. They
So-
buy the cheap colors, they throw them away and buy a new one.
Yeah.
So if you don't need color and you don't need an MFC, you can get a $90 and then you can get $150 if you need MFC. But if you need just a regular black and white printer, which if you're dealing with work, or school, that's all you need anyway for papers.
Right.
I don't see any reason why you would not buy some sort of black and white laser over an inkjet.
And they're small.
And plus, by the way, the quality of the prints are phenomenal compared to inkjet. You don't have to worry about the paper getting all weird and saturated and funky looking. Color or laser printers are sweet.
inexpensive copy paper for the laser.
Yeah.
You don't have to
And
buy
you can buy a pack of
coated.
I look, he said, well, how much are the refills? I went on eBay. You can buy 3-pack for $20 of the toner.
Yeah.
There's no way. I mean, he'll be dead before he could use 3 toner packages. I
Brother
mean, that stuff will last a lifetime.
Brother MFC L3710 color wireless printer, all-in-one laser is $299.
Yeah. So that,
Yeah.
okay. So here's the thing,
So-
though. You can get an all-in-one laser for 112.
Oh
So
no, I
I'm-
realize. But
yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
if you're a small business, you need to do regular color printing. It makes sense to have this.
Yeah.
So
If you
it's a
can afford
decent
that,
price.
that's the best way to go.
It's
I would agree.
$50 off the regular price. It used to be that these started at $600 or $700, and now they're down
Yeah.
to list price $349.
Yeah.
So
So
that's good.
there's my tip there. If you can get away with it and it makes sense for your budget of what you're looking for, you'll have in my opinion, a much better experience with a color or a laser over an inkjet in most situations. Not all.
No surprises. That's what's nice about it. You don't get to
Yeah.
it and find out the yellow is gone if you're doing color, or if you just get to it and your inkjet is you have color but no black.
Yep.
I've had mine, I think, for 7 or 8 years now, and I've replaced the toner. Amnon gave me the toner. I think I replaced it once.
Oh,
Yeah,
Joe
they
says
last.
Nabil is closed.
What?
It says Nabil is closed.
Is it for the time of the year? Is he closed?
No.
Is he on the road now?
Well, he had a car accident,
Oh no.
but he's fine. I mean, I talked to him actually beginning of the week. He didn't say anything about being closed. He said that people had to close him down for the fair and then open it up again after the fair, that he couldn't do it himself.
Oh, Amnon.
Interesting.
Your boys canceled their show. The Rars Fest canceled their damn show.
Because of Corona?
Yeah, I'm pissed. I'm finally going to be in town for Easter this year, and they closed the damn show. Get them on the line.
Jeez.
I know.
Well,
I got an
I don't know
email
that
yesterday.
I don't know that they can do anything about it, because now what is it? 100. I mean, in North Carolina, the governor said that no gathering.
Unconstitutional.
Well,
Can't do
I
that.
mean, yeah, but the thing is, it makes sense to them. So they said that we have so many people that we're not going to do it. I mean, I'm sure they didn't do it happily.
Oh no, I'm sure they didn't. I'm pissed.
Interesting.
I'm going to start a petition.
Interesting.
You should go right down to the governor's mansion and stand on the steps and demand that he come out and talk to you.
I would like to have my ham radio festival, Mr. Governor.
Wow.
It would have been a good time for it too. Probably a lot of people going because everybody. By the way, those Baofeng radios, those little cheap 2-meter dual frequencies, are sold out on Amazon. Everybody's buying them up.
Oh yeah, because they think it's a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I'm ready to go.
Nick, you should organize it and just have the event be online, but everybody has to use their key to do it. No audio.
No audio.
Amazing.
I'm going to give you my address now, but I'm going to do it over the key.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
So
2 weeks later, it'd be done.
So that's frustrating. Rars Fest is a great event. It's one of the. It's one of the.
Biggest,
one of the really. One of like the. I think it's like the biggest event. I think Charlotte's event might be a little bit bigger, but. By the way, Rars Fest is the Raleigh Radio Society.
Yeah.
Closed.
There's a friend of mine used to work with who was very active in the emergency response team that set up antennas all over the triangle for low-speed communications in the event of a disaster. We had an antenna on the building that we worked in, right there in the park. He was the one that set it up, and they have their. I wonder if they still have their events every year where they do the practice relay for that, where they set up tents in different places just in case, it's simulating an emergency just to practice.
Well, maybe I lied. Maybe it's, oh no, it is canceled.
Flea market
Flea market
is
is
closed too.
closed.
Yeah. Oh, I see. It's closed because of the,
that's why they.
yeah, not because nVidia wasn't there, but because it's just closed.
Yeah.
We got to the RV show in time, though. That's good. That still they had that event, but the boat show looks like it's going to be closed. Not that I'm going to the boat show.
Oh, come on. You're not in the market?
No, I had a boat which I sold 3 or 4 years ago. I had it for 30 years.
You
Oh my
need to go
God.
and buy all the boats that you can.
Yeah, and then you can live out on your boat if the shit hits the fan. Live on your pontoon boat.
There are people out on Jordan Lake that have houseboats.
There you go. That's the
They
move.
would take them out every weekend. You'd see them tied off in one of the smaller tributary ponds there and just hang out for the weekend. They had a jet ski with them and they come back in on Sunday night. And that was it. That was their no rent. They just had to pay for the slip
Yep, there you go.
in the dock. So that was it.
Which can be pretty expensive, by the way.
Oh, yes, it can. But this was reasonable at one time. There's only one marina on Jordan Lake. And it was taken over by a different company a couple of years ago and the prices all went up.
Well, listen to this story. Robert Ross was sitting in his San Francisco home office in October 2018. Wait, why am I hearing buzzing? When he noticed the bars on his phone had disappeared and he had no cell coverage. A few hours later, he had lost $1 million. He said, I was at home at my desk and I noticed a notification on my iPhone for a withdrawal request from one of my financial institutions. And I thought, that's weird. I didn't make a withdrawal request. Ross recalled, then I looked back at my phone and I saw that I had no service. Ross was a victim of a SIM hack, an attack that occurs when hackers take over a victim's phone number by transferring it to a SIM card they control. By taking over his cell phone number, a hacker was able to gain access to his email address and ultimately his life saving, Ross said in an interview with CNN. An arrest was made in Ross's case, and the suspect had pleaded not guilty. He's suing AT&T for what he alleges was a failure by the company to protect his sensitive and confidential account data that resulted in massive violations of his privacy and the theft of more than $1 million, according to the lawsuit. So apparently, if something like this is easy to do, and I'm not familiar with that, they get your email address and they drill from then on, and they can get into your financial. I'm assuming that that means that you were doing all kind of different transactions or
No, it's not that it's
communication.
easy to do, but like every financial institution, I believe at this point is using, and this is Gall is, I've always given Gall crap for this. He's always a big stickler that SMS 2FA is junk. And this is why you're hearing it right now. This guy's bank or his, like for example, I use Vanguard as my investment site.
Okay.
When I log into Vanguard, it sends me a text message. So Amnon, if you call AT&T, and by the way, you're not hacking, you're using social engineering. There's two different words here. There's social engineering and there's hacking.
So they're
If you
convincing.
use social.
Go ahead.
If you convince AT&T that you are Nick and get a SIM card switched to your ghosted SIM card, then you can log into the account, or if you have the password to log into the account, the text message will get sent to your SIM card, your phone. So that's why people like Gall, rightfully so, say that SMS two-factor authentication is junk because of that reason right there. Somebody can convince AT&T, and this guy will win this lawsuit against AT&T. They gave somebody else access to his account and switched his SIM card.
So today, Amnon, does the story say that they recovered the money?
Well, no, they just said that they arrested the guy.
They
So
had to
we,
have gotten the money back.
Well, if they found the guy, it means they had to have found where the money went.
Well,
no,
it's all FDIC insured. I mean,
No, not investment accounts.
no?
Nope.
only
Only
bank.
savings accounts and only up to $250,000 per institution.
Hmm.
So
No,
that's why
he's
you should, if
suing.
you have a lot of cash, you got to spread it around amongst multiple banks.
He's suing them for losing 1 million. So apparently they did not get the money.
Wow. I have a financial planner who has my IRA investments, and I cannot go in and withdraw money without contacting him. So he would be suspicious if I called him. Maybe I need a safe word. Did you see the story about the kid that got saved from being kidnapped with the safe word?
No.
He was coming home from school, and some guy pulled up and said, "Your mother sent me to pick you up," and gave a convincing story. So the kid said, "Okay, what's the safe word?" Because the mom gave him a safe word to say, if anybody ever comes to get you from school or ever tells you that I tell you something, you need to have the safe word. And the
Interesting.
safe, yeah, the guy didn't know it, and the kid ran screaming.
Wow.
Good, simple thing to do.
I mean, this is sort of like another reason why you shouldn't do uh you shouldn't manage your investments online without interaction with somebody, like with a
Yeah.
Well, that's not an
representative.
option for most people.
I
Some
don't
people,
know. I
yeah, it's
mean, I
true.
think
I have a small account with Fidelity that I could just go in, and not that there's a lot of money there, so it wouldn't be tragic. But I had to find a place to put a very small pension, and I chose to put it at Fidelity, and it's just there is no. I can do two-factor authentication if I want to, but I don't have it set up. Just a login.
oh,
Oh, I
So what
got
they do is, like, for example, I did some buying. I did some investments earlier this week when the stock market was down because it was low. My I did it through Vanguard. I When I purchased, into the mutual fund I was buying into, they sent me a text message to confirm it. So that's part of it. If you are able to get my SIM card, you have access to all of that stuff. And there's nothing the solution is AT&T and Verizon. It's not just AT&T, it's Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, everybody needs to have better systems in place where this has not happened once or twice. You've read
yeah.
200 stories about this over the years.
I was just thinking something. I'm wondering. Text message, right away you think cell phone.
Yeah.
Now, I just remember that the nVio account,
Mhm.
you can get
You could do
text messages to that line.
Yeah, you can buy services that do text to email. You pay for them monthly. Mhm.
Well, yeah, here it's free.
Well,
So,
yeah, but you're paying for the SIP line. Yeah.
yeah, so is that really safer because they can't
Um,
get into the SIM? It's
well, I
interesting.
don't know if it's safer. It's more inconvenient, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, if you're making any kind of transactions and things like that, then it's, you want to, you
Yes,
probably
but
are
you
not.
also needed to be that this is part of the struggle with two-factor authentication and any sort of um, uh, any sort of double layer security. By the way, everything we use at work is under two-factor. Everything, our email, every system, everything that I don't have a single login at work that doesn't use an authentication app on my phone.
Mhm.
Um, but it's got to be convenient. And it is convenient because I'm using Authy and Microsoft Authenticator and Auth Anvil. All that stuff works fine. But if I have to log into, um, um, if I have to log into my nVio account to get a two-factor, that's just not realistic. So yes, it is probably more secure, but is it as usable? Probably not. And then at that point, you're going to disable it because it's a pain.
Okay. Yeah. It's just a thought. Um, and I don't know if you noticed that there's less and less uh, spam out there. I mean, less. Let's not. I wouldn't say less.
That's because it was all everybody bought it all in the stores. They cleaned them
My
out. All
all the
packaged
spam.
meats got sold out. They said people just went crazy. Anything that could stick on the shelves. So I'm sorry,
Microsoft.
Amnon, you can't get the
No, but
pepper
yeah.
version of
But listen
spam
to
anymore.
this. Microsoft announced last week a coordinated takedown of Netcures, one of the largest spam and malware botnets known to date, believed to have infected more than 9 million computers worldwide. The takedown effort came after Microsoft and industry partners broke Netcure's DGA, the botnet's domain generation algorithm, the component that generates random domain names. Their authors register DHA generated domain. Well, it's all technical stuff that I don't even understand. Bots connected to receive new commands. I mean, it's like a real operation, big operation. It says that breaking the DGA allowed Microsoft and its industry partners to create a comprehensive list of future Nectar CNC server domains that can now be blocked and prevent them from registering. That wipes a big chunk of spam uh, out there, which is very nice. And maybe they can do stuff like this for the rest of them. I still say that the big guys are are supporting spam, because if the big guys could adapt a system that will require every mail server, legitimate mail server, to be registered, just like they do with DNS, will do away with spam in a heartbeat. But they don't. And Delta Force will keep trying, like every few months, to enable that. And the list just, I mean, fills up with all kind of, legitimate website. I mean, domain names that says, "Oh no, they're not registered. They're not configured properly." So you can't enable it even if you're an ISP. When the other side, I mean, I cannot block email from big companies just because they're not configured right with something that's not uh, widely accepted. But if the big guys, if Gmail, I mean, if Google, just Google, say, okay, from now on, no email goes from anybody that's not legitimate email server. That will do it. But anyway, I digress. Um, we were talking about the Brave browser, and the Brave browser is working on a feature that will randomize its fingerprint every time a user visits a website in an attempt to preserve the user's privacy.
Bingo.
Brave's decision comes as an online advertisers and analytic firms are moving away from tracking users via cookies to using fingerprints. The unfortunate truth about these approaches is that despite being well intentioned, none of them are very effective in preventing fingerprints. The Brave team said of other browser makers' approaches. The enormous diversity of fingerprinting surface in modern browsers makes these block, lie, or permission approaches somewhere between insufficient and useless. And they added that brave new approach aims to make every browser look completely unique, both between websites and between browsing sessions. So, Nick, you said you're using it, right?
I use it at work.
Yeah. I need to install it. That's that that shows that somebody cares and they're trying to do something to help you. That's
Yeah, you know what? It's not gonna be there forever. It'll use it while you can, and then they'll sell out to somebody, I'm sure, inevitably.
well, somebody will buy it because of that, which is fine.
Well, yeah, so they can steal your data. Yeah, exactly.
Now,
So yeah, I mean, it's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
I know this is definitely relevant for every single one of our listeners. If you manage a Sonic Wall firewall, which I know everybody does, the newest version of Chrome does not allow you to log into it. So,
oh boy.
got to use Firefox. So if you're trying to set up work remote for somebody and they have a Sonic Wall, and you're like, why the hell can't I log in? Switch to Firefox or Edge or IE.
And I guess that's a bug.
Yeah, it's something with the way that Chrome changed something how pages load, and it causes some problem.
They'll fix it.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right. It's this time of day again.
No,
Yeah.
we have to go back. We have to go back to our lockdown.
You have to go back to see your
Oh,
grandson.
sorry.
You have
Not
to go.
ready.
You have to go see your grandson.
I saw him yesterday. It was good.
That's not today.
Have to go today. Yeah,
You have to.
he's a busy little guy.
All right. Anything anybody wants to add?
Stay
Nope.
safe.
All right. Well, thanks, Nick, Spence. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Dina. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together here. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scan. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And Nick is hosting Against the Norm this evening, 7 o'clock at www.atnshow.com. Anywhere in the world, you can listen to that. Or if you're in Wilmington, you can listen to Big Talker 106.7 FM. See you next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.